The Road Not Taken. It's a poem by Robert Frost, right? So, first of all, somebody is going to read the introduction part, and then I am going to explain in general what the poem is really all about. And then we will go stanza by stanza. All right. So, yes, Pranjal, we can start with you. Read the
Good,
introduction part.
good morning, teachers.
Good morning.
The Road Not Taken is one of Frost's popular,
Yes.
tough, controversial
Though,
poems.
though, it is used as
Though,
a
contro-
conjunction. Yes.
though controversial poem, it shows the philosophy of Frost on one side and on another side. It shows the dilemma and predic-
Predicament.
predicament faced
Yes.
by every individual while making a choice. It is
Didactic in nature.
didactic in nature.
All right. So, The Road Not Taken. Basically, see, it's a poem where we talk about the philosophy of life, how life should be led. It is basically talking about this thing only, right? So, this poem shows the philosophy of Robert Frost, how he saw life from his own perspective. And it also shows another side that sometimes in life we come at certain stages where we have to make choices, and the choices are very tough to make. So, dilemma and predicament are those situations where the situations are tough and we are there and we have to make the choice. Every individual faces these situations at different points of time in their life, but they have to face it. So, this poem is all about that only, right? And it is didactic in nature. By didactic, we mean giving some sort of learning, some sort of moral message is there in the poem, right? Because it is trying to teach us how we should decide what can happen in life, right? So it is a kind of a you can say teaching us. So it is didactic in nature, and you can find these situations coming only when you are a small kid or a student, when you have to decide that which course you have to take, right? Which stream you have to pursue. Do you want to study commerce or you want to study science, right? So these situations can come in life at a very early stage, and they leave a lasting impression on your life, right? Because if you take a particular stream and start studying, then all your career, all your life might revolve around it, right? So at a very young age, you decide important things of your life, and then your entire life revolves around those decisions that you have taken at such an early age, right? So this is what the poem is really all about, where we have to make tough choices and how an individual goes about taking those decisions. This is the crux of the poem. All right. Yes, Angel?
Good morning, teachers.
Good morning. Start with the first stanza.
Two roads diverged in Yellowwood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveller. Long I stood and looked down as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth.
All
Then
right, stop, stop. So this is the first stanza of the poem. Now the poet starts with two roads diverged in a yellow wood. So now over here, two roads that is present. Basically, it is showing us that when we have two choices in life, and we have to choose one of them, right? So this two roads present over here is basically signifying that it is present representing that only. That when in life we have a choice to make, then what happens? So two roads diverge. Diverged means that division of something. All right, two branches of something. So they are going in different directions, right? So when we take one decision, we go in a different direction. If we take another decision in life, then we go in totally different direction. So basically, just like two roads, they diverge, they go in different directions from a point. In the same way, when we have to make a choice in life, when we take a decision in life, then also we go in different directions, right? And yellow would over here represents the autumn season, right? When the leaves become yellow and they fall down. All right. Then, and sorry, I could not travel both. So now the poet is saying that two roads are diverging means I have two choices present and I have to choose one only. It is not possible for me to take both, right? Just like one cannot travel on both the roads at the same time, in the same way, one cannot make both the choices at the same time, right? And the best example is that if you are trying to choose a stream for yourself as a subject, as a student, it can be the best example. Either you can study commerce, or you can study science, or maybe you can study arts, but you have to choose one. It cannot be the case that you start studying everything at the same time, right? So you always have to make a choice. You cannot do both at the same time. And be one traveler, long I stood. So now the poet is saying that when I am the traveler on the road and I see that two roads are going in two different directions, and because I cannot travel on both roads, so now I am standing for a long time. He is just contemplating that now in which direction he should go. So basically, indirectly hinting that when we have to make a decision, then we have to think a lot that in which direction in life we should move forward, in which direction we should move ahead. And look down one as far as I could. So now the poet is saying that we try to look down as far as I could means he's trying to look down as far as he could to see that what is the path really all about, right? What is there on the path? What are the problems he could face on that path if he travels on that road? In turn, it means that if we take a particular decision in life, then what will be its result? What are the challenges that we are going to face when we take a particular decision in our life? So this is what this line means. To where it bent in the undergrowth. So undergrowth over here means the bushes, small shrubs and herbs that grow on the ground, the grass that is present. So the poet is saying that I tried to see as far as I could on both the paths and tried to see where the road was going till it bent means it vanished in the undergrowth in the bushes, because after a certain time you can't see where the path is leading you. So the poet tried to see as far as he could that where it is going and what are the problems, challenges present. But there was a limit after which the road bent in the undergrowth and he was not able to see. So in our life, we can relate it in this way that when we try to choose when we take a decision in our life, then some of the problems, challenges, obstacles we can think about that. Okay, if I will take this decision in life, then these will be its positive points, these can be the negative points, but it is limited. We cannot see everything in advance what is going to come on in our life, right? So that thing is represented with the help of this line, that to where it bent in the undergrowth. Because now when the road is bending after a certain point of time, now you can't see where it is going. So in the same way, when we also take an important decision in our life, then we can think of some problems, some positives and negatives of that decision, but we cannot see everything that is going to happen after we take that particular decision, right? Now we come to the next stanza. Yes, Aryan.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it
Yes.
was grassy and severe, though as for that, the passing there had warned them really about the same.
Yes. So over here now, what is happening? Uh, the poet is telling that first he saw the first path, right? That where it was going and where it went in the undergrowth. Now he is taking a look at the second path. So basically, trying to highlight that in life we try to observe both the paths. Where one decision will lead us, where the other decision will lead us, we try to weigh, right? That if we take this decision, then what will be the benefit, what will be the negative points. If we take the other decision, if we choose the other thing, then what is going to happen. In the same way, the poet is saying that now took a look at the other path, that what the other path was really all about. As just as fair means, the second path was also equally attractive, equally beautiful, right? So sometimes it happens that we are attracted to both and we have to choose one. So the poet is saying this was the dilemma, that he had to choose between the two, and both were looking very appealing to him, right? And having perhaps the better claim. So claim means the right to be chosen. So he said that second path was looking like it had a better claim to be chosen. Why? The reason is because it was grassy and wanted wear. So he's saying that the second path that was present, it was grassy. Means there was a lot of greenery, a lot of grass was there, and wanted wear. Wanted viewer means that it was a relatively unused path. Okay, not many people had used it, so it was still very fresh, it was still very green, it was still very grassy. This is what the poet is saying. All right. So in our life also, sometimes when we have to take decisions, certain decisions are such that a lot of people go in that direction only. But some people are brave enough and they take a difficult decision and they move in such a direction that is not opted by a lot of people, right? The unconventional method. For example, in today's time, everybody tries to become a doctor, an engineer, a teacher, right? You try to become these things, but nobody tries to become a writer, a poet, right? Nobody tries to become or aims of becoming these, right? So this happens that some of the professions or these things, they are not opted by a lot of people. So over here also the poet is saying that this path that was there, it wanted veer, means not many people had traveled on this path. So it was attracting the poet quite a lot because it was very grassy. It means that it had a lot of opportunities and nobody was willing to go into that direction. Very few people have gone in that direction. Okay. Then, though as for that, the passing there had warned them really about the same. Now the poet is saying that it is not that this path was very easy, it was a bed full of roses. That if you choose this path, you will live a very happy life, you will never have any problems, no challenges are going to come in your path. This is not the case. A lot of challenges still are going to come, whichever path you choose, because life is always tough. It always poses challenges at you, and you have to brave all these challenges, whichever path you choose, right? So just because it is grassy and nobody has traveled and it is looking very lucrative, it is attracting me, it does not mean that passing there. The word passing over here is for those people who have already traveled on that path. Okay, so though as for that, the passing there had warned them really about the same. Worn out means to face the challenges, the problems that that path had thrown at them, right? So the poet is saying that the people who have traveled on the less traveled path, they have also been thrown the same amount of challenges that were thrown at people who were traveling the more frequently traveled path. Okay, so the poet is trying to just say that when you are going to make choice in life, when you are going to make a decision in life, then don't think that if I am going to choose one path, then this path will not have a lot of challenges. It will not have a lot of problems. We should always be ready to face all the problems and all the challenges that life is going to pose at us, right? So we should always be ready. So this is what the poet is saying, that the other path was very fair, very grassy, and nobody had traveled on this path. Very few people had traveled, but the people who had traveled, they had also faced the same kind of challenges, right? So it was not that this path was just a cakewalk, it was a bed of roses that you can just enjoy your life if you are walking on the relatively new path, right? So both paths had their own challenges, different challenges. If you take different decisions in life, you move in different directions and different challenges come towards you, right? Then it is up to you that which path I prefer, which decision should I take, and what kind of life should I lead, right? So, but we should be very clear in our mind that whatever decision we take, whatever life we try to lead, life is always going to be a bit hard. We should always be prepared for the challenges that are going to come towards us, right? All right. Now we come to the third stanza. Yes, Swastika.
And both that plodding equally lay, in least no step had trodden black. Oh,
Yes.
I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubt if I should ever come back.
Okay. Now let's see what is the meaning of this third stanza. He's saying, and both that morning equally late. So I have already told you in the beginning that yellow woods mean that it was the autumn season. Some problem is there with the network.